Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth. At least 82 dead in a devastating flood in Texas. The big beautiful bill is now law. Trade talks continue and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Central Texas flooding leaves at least 82 dead and 41 still missing. July 4th flash flooding along the Guadalupe River caused water to rise 20 feet in 2 hours in some areas, devastating campgrounds on the banks where visitors were gathered for the holiday. Roads were also washed out, endangering travelers. Kerr County, Texas was among the hardest hit, with at least 40 adults and 28 children killed, and 10 children and a summer camp counselor still missing as of Sunday night. Yesterday, President Trump signed a major disaster declaration for the county, granting first responders access to more resources. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's state disaster declaration remains in effect in many counties. President Trump on Friday signed a massive reconciliation package that will extend tax cuts and phase in cuts to Medicaid, finalizing a significant legislative victory for his administration after months of difficult negotiations with Republicans on Capitol Hill. Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law at a military family picnic at the White House for the 4th of July. Trump and his aides had long pegged Independence Day as a deadline for when they hoped to see the legislation on his desk, a timeline that appeared in peril just days ago. We made promises, and it's really promises made, promises kept, and we've kept them, Trump said from the balcony overlooking the south lawn of the White House. This is a triumph of democracy on the birthday of democracy, and I have to say the people are happy. The bill included tax cuts for middle and low-income individuals and seniors, no taxes on tips up to $25,000, additional tax cuts for small businesses, new requirements for Medicare and Medicaid to prevent fraud, increased funds for border security, and more. Pentagon intelligence officials assess the U.S. military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities set back Tehran's program by up to 2 years, the Defense Department said on Wednesday, a more modest claim than President Trump's assertion that the attack had obliterated Iran's nuclear efforts. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell disclosed the assessment at a press briefing, saying it indicated that the strikes had degraded their program by 2 years. The extent of the damage to Iran's nuclear capability has emerged as an issue since the attacks, highlighting questions about how quickly Tehran could rebuild damaged facilities and resume producing enriched uranium and other components necessary if it sought to make a nuclear weapon. President Trump announced a trade deal with Vietnam. In the agreement, American goods entering Vietnam will not be subject to tariffs, while Vietnamese imports will be assessed a 20% tariff, down from 46% that the president announced in April. Goods from other countries that transit through Vietnam en route to the U.S. will be subject to a 40% tariff. The Wall Street Journal reported that the Vietnam deal is the second one Trump negotiated since he raised the issue of so-called reciprocal tariffs. The UK deal was the first. Stocks for shoe and apparel companies that have been diversifying manufacturing out of China, such as Nike, rose on the news. The Trump administration also moved closer to formalizing a trade deal with the European Union that would spare the continent from 50% tariffs, just days before Trump's imposed deadline of July 9th. Negotiators sidestepping the most contentious parts of a potential deal sought to assemble a patchwork deal before holding more comprehensive discussions. President Trump also said the U.S. has begun sending letters to foreign governments detailing steep new tariffs ranging from 10% to as high as 70%. Around 10 letters will go out each day, with more to follow as Trump pushes for reciprocal tariffs to pressure trade partners into reaching new deals by a July 9th deadline. The new rates are scheduled to take effect August 1st unless agreements are reached. The administration hasn't named which nations are targeted, but Trump said this approach would streamline enforcement and boost demand for U.S.-made goods. The announcement pushed global markets lower. Germany's DAX fell 0.6%, France's CAC 40 dropped 0.7%, and South Korea's KOSPI tumbled 2%. The U.S. added 147,000 jobs in June, surpassing expectations and showing a slight increase from May's 139,000 gain. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1%, near historic lows, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. U.S. jobless claims dropped to 233,000 for the week ending June 28th, beating analyst forecasts and signaling continued low layoff levels. The 4-week average also declined, falling to 241,500. Gas prices in the United States are dipping to their lowest numbers since 2021, as a record 72.2 million Americans prepared to hit the road for the 4th of July weekend. The nationwide average for a gallon of gas is currently $3.14, which is roughly 32 cents less than what it was this time last year. The financial relief is due to stabilization in the Middle East following the Israel-Iran conflict, but prices will only continue their downward trend so long as the stability lasts, and as long as there are no major storms hitting the U.S. this hurricane season. Paramount Global has agreed to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit filed by President Trump over a 2024 60 Minutes interview with the then Vice President Kamala Harris. CBS deceptively edited the interview to favor Harris during the presidential campaign. The settlement funds will go to Trump's future presidential library, not to him personally, and Paramount will not issue an apology. As part of the agreement, 60 Minutes will release transcripts of future interviews with presidential candidates after they air, with necessary redactions. On this day in 1785, the United States Congress officially adopted the dollar as the nation's currency, establishing a decimal-based system that was groundbreaking for its time and set a global precedent. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.